they talking real loud, spreading no lie, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Popping can is swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track.
Another Queen Ahmadiyyah production.
Haze on the corner, they talking real loud, spreading no lie, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Popping can is swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. Haze on the corner, they talking real loud, spreading no lie, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Popping can is swilling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream.
All right, hello everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah, and this is your daily vitamin. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If you haven't done so already, be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Okay, so before we get started, we're going to have a brief word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes. Okay, so let's get ready to get black into it.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so listen, everyone. I'm going to try to get through as much of this as I can. I have so many receipts. There's no way I'm going to get through all of it today. And then not to mention, I have somewhere to be at 8 o'clock. Okay, so, but I wanted to bring you all this information because, okay. So, yeah, I wanted to bring you all this information because, you know, Some Black people have been saying that there was no Black people or no Black children being tortured or eaten or any of those things in the Epstein files. That's absolutely not true, and we all should have known that because, as I've told you all before, they devoured our ancestors during slavery. And I've also told you all the way back in 2020 that when it comes to them looking for that substance that they have so many nicknames for, like walnut sauce, the substance that starts with an A and ends with the word chrome, they prefer to get that from Black children, okay, because of their melanin and also because they are the ones least likely to have a calcified pineal gland, is what these devils assume. Now, I learned much of this information years ago when I read a book called SRA, which stands for Satanic Ritual Abuse, which was written by a woman by the name of Amelia Cruz. So, with that all being said, let's get ready to get into some of this. Danielle says she's taking a lunch break, okay? Hey, Love Christy, Danielle, Soul Sister, 504 Nola, Queen Amoni Huey, Edward is in the virtual building, DJ Big Six. All right, y'all know I love me some you. Albie Chill is here. All right, Emperor Rex, Marjorie. Let's get into it, everybody. Lawyer is here. Lady Painter, Pretty Wings, Nessa G, Flower Lotus. All right, y'all know. Hey, Desmond. Okay, so let's get into it, beloveds. Now, listen. Like I said, I have somewhere to be at 8, so I don't want to be on here too long. I actually wanted to come on here earlier, but I just got so caught up with digging for receipts. Okay, I just got caught up with that. Y'all know I be doing too much. Okay, so anyway, with that all being said, let's get into it. First off, let's talk about the Sultan. Let's talk about Sultan Ahmed bin Salayem. Okay, he's been identified in the documents, and he is the one who supposedly sent Jeffrey Epstein the torture video that Jeffrey Epstein said, I love the torture video, by the way. So now we know who this person is. But let's not forget there's also a torture video with John Podesta. Allegedly. I'll say allegedly, but I absolutely believe that was John Podesta. In that video, he was saying his name. He kept screaming at the child, what is my name? Say my name, and all of this. And it was also egregious. And I have seen some even more awful videos that I don't even want to think about. Okay, so now let's get into this. I'm going to go ahead and start it. Likes up, everyone. Please don't forget to like and share. Also, double check to make sure that you are still subscribed to the Queen's channel. They have started back unsubscribing people. They have unsubscribed at least 20 something of y'all. And because they don't really like us talking about this information in depth or whatever. You really don't see some of the things that I've been telling you. You have not seen on the lamestream media. Okay, some of the things that people are reporting on TikTok, you have not seen on the lamestream media. My question is, why hasn't Sasha Riley or Sasha Barros, as he now calls himself, why hasn't he been interviewed by the lamestream media? Why isn't he on the news? This man mentions Donald Trump and plenty of things about Donald Trump that I absolutely believe are actually true. And also some of the things that he says show up in the documents, or I'm sorry, not shows up in the documents, but are corroborated by things that show up in the documents. And also there are police reports that he did. There has been stuff that he's been posting since 2021. He's been saying these things for years, even Donald Trump's name. How did this man become the president twice? And here's the thing. The FBI knew about all of this, okay? They knew about these things. They've had this information for years, okay? With that being said, how in the hell did Trump run for president 2016, 2020, and then just recently? Okay, please make that make sense. It is also egregious. Now, let's get into this report about the Sultan. And also, there's a picture of the Sultan and Jeffrey Epstein in the kitchen cooking. And, well, I'll get to that in a moment. Let's listen to this first.
Man who runs global posts, a man who shaped modern Dubai, and a man now linked to an email that read, "Where are you? Are you okay? I loved the torture video." Now, that email was sent by Jeffrey Epstein on April 24, 2009. For years, the recipient's name was redacted, and today, that name is out. Hello and welcome to NewsX. I'm Kashur Sawan, bringing you the latest around the world. US lawmakers reviewing the unredacted DOJ files, including Republican Congressman Thomas Massie. have identified the mysterious Sultan in Epstein's contact logs. And it is Sultan Ahmad bin Sulayem, the group chairman and CEO of DP World. Now, the controversy centers around a disturbing email sent by Jeffrey Epstein on April 24, 2009. And the subject line read, "Where are you? Are you okay? I love the torture video." For years, that name was redacted from public records, fueling speculations who Epstein was actually communicating with. But now, lawmakers said that recipient was Sultan Ahmad bin Sulayem, a confirmation that has raised serious questions about the nature of their relationship and what content Epstein was referring to in that message. Now, the timing of the email offers a critical clue. Just 2 days earlier, on April 22, 2009, ABC News broadcast had released a graphic video involving Sheikh Issa bin Zayed Al Nahyan, a member of the UAE royal family. The footage showed the sheikh beating a grain merchant with a nail plank and running him over with a massive SUV. The video had sparked global outrage then. Now, the Epstein's message, "I loved the torture video." Now, it is believed to refer to that very broadcast, suggesting a shared morbid interest in the incident.
Okay, I'm gonna stop right there. I don't want to listen to that whole thing. Now, here's the things. They were also supposedly feeding children to alligators. Okay, they were feeding children to alligators. Who does that sound like? Isn't that what they did to your ancestors during slavery? They fed babies. They used babies as alligator bait. Okay. Okay, so with that all being said, let's get ready to get into it. This is all very egregious. Sasha Riley. If you all remember, I showed you Sasha Riley's audio. I played you some of his audio a while ago. I have more of his audio, but here's the thing. Sasha Riley mentioned a black girl. Her name was Samantha. They said that she was a runaway. That's not what Sasha said, but Sasha says that's what they told the police when this girl was killed. Now, when the police came and they saw the blood and everything, Sasha Riley says that they lied and basically said that she ran away again, that she wasn't there. But Sasha says they tortured her to death. Excuse me. He said they were having a party. And at these parties, he said they would usually have just girls. Every now and then they would have a boy included in case someone wanted to choose between a boy or a girl. At this time, Sasha was chosen. This is where he met Samantha and Sarah and another girl, which I can't remember her name, but Sarah took her own life, and Samantha, the black girl, was tortured to death. You see, here's the thing. You wonder why you don't see any black victims coming forward? That's because they were all murdered. All of the black victims were killed. They were not allowed to live. They were done and treated the worst. And I'm going to play you a witness, a woman who claims to know about this stuff, and she says exactly that. But not only did this woman who I'm going to show, actually it's two women in the video I'm going to show you, they both talk about it, being black people involved, or black children. And then also Sasha Riley mentions Samantha, and then he also said that Clarence Thomas, when Clarence Thomas came to this farm or wherever they were having this event at this time, when Clarence Thomas showed up, Sasha Riley really noticed him because that was like the only time he saw a black man involved in this. I want you all to pay attention. When Clarence Thomas came, that was the only time that he saw a black man involved in this. And also, Sasha Riley said that his father, William Riley, who adopted him, he said his father, hold on. Buckhorst, DC, please don't come in here with jokes because there's nothing funny about what I'm discussing. Okay, so please come in with a serious attitude. This is not a time for jokes or games. Okay, I will put you in timeout. Now, with that all being said, as I was saying, Sasha Riley's father, William Riley, adopted him. This man adopted him not to be his child, but to be his slave. Now, I want you all to think about this because I have reported to you before at least 2 or 3 cases where people who don't look like me adopted children who do look like me, and they were treated as slave, or there were nefarious things done to them, as such as beatings, torture, not feeding them, and things of that nature. Okay, yes, Anita Hill was likely telling the truth about Clarence Thomas. Now, with that all being said, let's go to this video of Sultan in the kitchen cooking with Jeffrey Epstein. This man is cooking the beef jerky that they talked about. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And also, let me say this. The reason I have been so into this research since early this morning, about 5 o'clock this morning, is because I had a dream last night, and the Most High showed me that it is imperative for me to find the receipts of the Black children, because the Most High also showed me that what they are doing is these 3 million files they put out is only a tip of the iceberg. There are many, many more millions. Now, they told us there's 3 more million, but no, there's way more than that. Okay, there's way more than that. And in those files are the mentionings of the Black children and the things that were done to them. This is what the DOJ, Donald Trump's administration, Pam Bondi, this is what they are hiding from the masses. I want you all to pay attention, and let me just say allegedly, but also they are allegedly also hiding, as the Most High showed me, who they are. These people are Nephilim. Okay, these people are Nephilim, allegedly. Now, we're going to get into more of that tomorrow, because I have the information on that as well. And this is all from my dream. Now, for those of you who don't know or haven't been on here, you may not understand what I'm talking about. I may sound crazy to you, but for those who've been following for years, absolutely know that I have predicted things, and that I absolutely do have prophetic dreams. And the dreams that I told you about have always, not once, not twice, but have always come true. Okay, so I have accurate information in the spiritual realm. But with that all being said, let's get into it. Now, I'm going to show this video of the Sultan and Jeffrey Epstein, or this picture, and this lady's doing a video about it. Let's get into it.
Reveal that this is the guy behind the torture videos in the Epstein files. His name is Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem. We learned this just an hour ago from Thomas Massey. He believes the Sultan is behind this email. It says, "Where are you? Are you okay? I loved the torture video." That's what Jeffrey Epstein is saying to him. And then he says, "I am in China. I will be in the US second week of May." We have also just learned that Les Wexner has been named as a co-conspirator with Epstein in the unredacted files tonight. One document in the recent file, it says, blank stated Epstein earned his money from having sex with Wexner. Old Les here is.
Now, I want you all to pay attention. That's what it said in the files, right? It said that that's how Jeffrey earned his money, from having sex with Les Wexner. Let me tell you all something. How many of you remember that I told you over a year ago that I believe that Jeffrey Epstein and Les Wexner had some sort of sexual relationship going on? Did I not tell you all that? No one had ever come out and alleged that Epstein was, on the rainbow side. But at the end of the day, I told you all I felt that's the type of relationship that they had. So now that has been verified in the Epstein files. Okay, I just want you all to pay attention.
The former CEO of Victoria's Secret, huge businessman, along with Bath & Body Works, Abercrombie & Fitch, and more. Epstein wrote a draft message to Les Wexner about, quote, gang stuff, and bets the two owed each other. Epstein mentioned that they were in these gang stuff for more than 15 years. Epstein also wrote about an argument with Les Wexner's wife, Abigail, where she made, quote, very unfair, aggressive, and false accusations. And then Epstein wrote that he wouldn't fully answer Abigail Wexner because it would violate a confidence between two men. Epstein also wrote that he would never put Les Wexner in harm's way. Epstein suggested Les Wexner stay silent if Abigail Wexner questioned him. And Epstein wrote, quote, "We don't know what we don't know." Has just been revealed.
Now, with that all being said, let's go to some of the files that I pulled up today. DJ Big Six said, "Where is it on the files?" If you give me a chance, I'll show you where it is on the files. The video just started. Okay, I literally just started the live. Can I get the receipts out first? And thank you. Okay, so here we go. Now, please pay attention. Now, they talk about this this school, a boarding school, African-American, 3 out of 4 African-American boarding schools. Okay, Piney Woods is listed as one of 4 African American boarding schools in the United States. Other boarding schools with African Americans, and they put Atlanta, Georgia. Okay, now why are they interested in boarding schools? Because they want these black kids. Also, please pay attention to the fact that Oprah opened a boarding school in Johannesburg. Did she not? And we already know what happened with that early on when the school first came into existence. Within not even a year, it was like 10 months. I reported on that in 2020. Now, let's go to this next email. Dear Amar Guay, on behalf of Attorney General Letitia James, I'm writing to notify you that we have received your correspondence. We appreciate your alerting us to this matter. We believe the organization shown below may be able to assist you, and we are forwarding your correspondence here. If you do not receive a response in the near future, please follow up directly with that organization. I suggest you attach a copy of this letter, or if appropriate, mention that you are adding new information. Thank you for contacting us. Kindly submit this to Letitia James. Now, all Jane Does and John Does, aka all minors, boys and girls in the African continent and their biological parents or others, victims of trafficking, rape, sexual abuse, physical violence, psychological trauma, and or any other types of harm inflicted by Jeffrey Epstein and his associates. Now, this is what he did supposedly in Africa. Okay, plaintiffs versus Jeffrey Epstein's estates, the Deutsche Bank, J.P. Morgan, and Epstein's Wall Street allies, Epstein's insurance companies, African presidents, African presidents. I want you all to pay attention. Okay, some of these African leaders were in on it, apparently, allegedly. African governments, the African Union and its members and employees, the UNICEF and its employees, the United Nations and its employees, and the United States government. Okay, you are hereby summoned to answer the complaint in this action and to serve a copy. Now, I don't know what happened with this. I don't know what happened with this case. But here's some of what they say. Preliminary statement. Plaintiffs by their attorneys assigned by the Office of the New York State Attorney General or the Office of, okay, I'm going to skip past all that. Entity in the United States that cares about the plight of these vulnerable African minors, okay, at the heads of the pervert PDF files such as Jeffrey Epstein and his associates, bring this case against the PDF file, Jeffrey Epstein's estate, and all the above mentioned defendants for said crimes committed by the defendants. Okay, defendants conducts herein have caused plaintiffs to suffer and will continue to suffer great pain of mind and body, severe and permanent emotional distress, physical manifestations of emotional distress, problems sleeping and concentrating, low self-confidence, low self-respect, low self-esteem, and all of the above. As you can see, now, they talk about struggling with alcohol problems, battling anorexia, feeling helpless and hopeless, problems with sexual intimacy, relational problems, trust issues, confidence, angry, anxiety, panic attacks, crying, feeling dirty, feeling like they want to take themselves out of here, and all of this. Okay? Feeling that their innocence was stolen and feeling that their lives were ruined. Plaintiffs were prevented and will continue to be prevented from performing normal daily activities and obtaining. Now, this was filed against them. This was filed against these devils. And, I mean, what was done about it is the question. Okay, I just find that all interesting. Now, so with that all being said, DJ Big Six said, where are the African writers? Honey, where are the African Americans writers? Why are you talking about the Africans? Where's the black men that's going to do anything? Please. So now let's talk about the alligators. And also, here's the thing I want you all to pay attention to. Because DJ Big Six asked the question, where is this in the files? As I told you at the beginning of the broadcast, the things about the Black children are in the files they refuse to release. Okay, but we know that there are Black children involved from what I just read to you about the Africans. They're talking about African Americans boarding schools. Why would they care about African American boarding schools, please? And also, like I said, I'm going to show you video of people, and Sasha Riley is a victim, a survivor. He has said there was the Black people there. The Hamstead twins, which I'll show you some video footage of them. In some of the paperwork, they said there was a Black girl named Millie that they met. Now, this is over in the UK with the Hamstead twins. But nonetheless, let's continue. And to me, a lot of Black people are trying to act as though there were no Black people or Black children involved because they don't want to do any damn thing. Okay, that's what that's all about. Some Black people don't want to do anything. If you don't want to do anything, then don't. Now, with that all being said, Federal Bureau of Investigation, this was unclassified, okay? This is dated August the 9th of 2021. On August the 9th of 2021 at 12:09 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, date of birth, blank, cellular phone number, blank, who resides in blank, called the FBI National Threat Operations Center to report her daughter, blank, date of birth, blank, and all of this is redacted, was a victim of Epstein. Okay, on that same date, August the 9th of 2021, talked to blank and asked about a letter blank wrote where she claimed she was a victim of Epstein. Blank said she was brought to a rich environment as a masseuse where she was pampered, and blank said Prince Andrew was present and confirmed he came on to her. Blank specified alligators were in the water. Alligators were in the water. Now, because as I told you, allegedly they were feeding people to alligators. Okay, now let's get into some of this, some of these videos. Here we go.
For all the Black people who think that no Black people, no Black children were affected by the Epstein files, you need to do a little bit more research. I listened to all the recordings of Sasha Riley's testimony that is available on Substack, okay? And he specifically talks about a young Black girl who was ultimately unalived that he remembered vividly because they stayed together a lot. Not necessarily on the Epstein Island, but in other places that Epstein owned and that people would come to indulge themselves in the sex slavery. Her name was Samantha. She's not here with us anymore. But he specifically talks about her in grave detail so y'all can stop the bullshit, okay? Love you, bye. And for
DJ Big Six says, who's going to do something about this? We're clearly not you, if you have to ask, okay? Now let's continue. Okay, now I want you all to listen to this. Again, this is Peter Nygaard. If you remember what he said, then you absolutely, there's already been a call to action, honey. And at the end of the day, I've joined a group, okay, of people that plan to do something, all right? And I don't know about the rest of you. I mean, you can do something yourself. You don't have to wait for me to tell you every little detail. The Epstein emails are all over the internet, okay? They're in the DOJ's website. Some of you can look some of this stuff up yourself. In fact, I wish that you would. Okay, I wish that some of you would put in some work and look up some of this stuff yourselves, because this is hard work, and I can't do it every day. All right, so now let's go to this video where Nygaard, and this is how you know Black people are absolutely victims. It says, video of Peter Nygaard, Jeffrey Epstein associate, attempting to purchase babies from Black women so he could drain their blood. I'll buy $60,000 worth of eggs, umbilical cord, a placenta, even your menstrual blood is so rich with stem cells. And you see, this is why they wanted the Black people specifically. They wanted them more so than anyone. You're going to hear a white woman actually say this. Okay, you're going to hear a white woman say this.
Which takes the egg of a young, perfect woman specimen, takes the egg and takes out the nucleus. This puts our DNA in the nucleus. They just go ahead and take it out.
egg white?
Huh? And this is part of this genetic greatness that we don't see in any other race on the planet. These curvy, sexy black women from Africa. Negroes have a kind of a monopoly on this genetic perfection, and we want some of that. So, girls, for $100, we will pay you for your hair.
Okay, now with that all being said, we've already seen that before. And then offering them $500. I mean, it's the nerve. Now, DJ Big Six says, rise above emotions. I hope you're not talking to me, beloved, because at the end of the day, please don't try to use my own quotes against me. Okay, rise above emotions. I always tell you all that that's what the minister says, okay, to rise above emotions. Yes. With that all being said, that's what we need to do. But at the end of the day, you need to be emotionally charged about this whole situation. Okay, I don't know why some of y'all are not mad. Okay, there's plenty of people that have crashed the hell out over this. Some people just seem like it's just nonchalant. They don't care. It's no big deal. It's not a problem. Okay, please miss me with it. Okay, this is way past emotions, just like Soul Sister said. Exactly. Yeah, you rise above your emotions into a clear frame of mind. But at the end of the day, you should absolutely be emotionally charged about this. Okay, we all should.
People who
This
are
is why they get away
told,
with it.
stop talking so much. Why do you make everything a big deal? It's not that deep. Now's your time to shine. Now's your time to shine. Matter of fact, it's always been our time to shine, because if this Epstein debacle is showing us anything, it's how deeply entrenched it is in our society to be complicit, to turn a blind eye, to protect the gang, to protect your friends, to protect whoever it is, whether you look at it from the lowest of the class to the highest of the class. That groupthink mentality is the end of times. You people who refuse to think for yourselves, you refuse to accept new information, because there's nothing wrong with being wrong. We're imperfect. It's gonna happen. But be open to the possibility that you can be wrong. These people are hell-bent on covering this up. And you know who's not letting it go? I guarantee you the same people who have never let stuff go their entire lives. They do not want to keep walking as if this is not happening. This is not normal. They're not underage girls. They are children. They are little girls who probably were not even menstruating. Do you remember, as a woman, I'm speaking to my natural born women, because you're the only ones who are going to relate to this. Your first time having to insert a tampon, I don't know if I'll go flag for that, but a tampon, I was so nervous. I couldn't even do it. I had to ask my mom. Couldn't ask my dad. I mean, that's definitely not a dad conversation. I asked my mom, and she was just like, gave me the instruction. I was terrified of using a tampon, and that is not a uncommon feeling or experience. So I need you to take that same lens and look at all these young girls that he was doing all kinds of horrific things to. And I'm trying not to cry, but I'm one of those, I cry when I get angry. Like, I'm so pissed at it to learn that when he was first sentenced, or his ass should have been under the damn prison, but his little homeboy got him 13 months where he had work from home. He could leave the jail.
Okay, I'm going to skip past that because we've all heard that. I have told you all that myself many a times. Now, with that all being said, DJ Big Six wants to know, where's all the cash in Minnesota? DJ Big Six, if you're trying to get on my nerves, you're successful. Why in the hell are you asking about Minnesota's cash when we're talking about children who have been murdered? Are you trying to gaslight and deflect? Now, if you don't want to participate in the stream, please leave. Okay, please leave. Now, I don't want to go off on you as I did the other day. I'm trying to keep my composure and rise above my emotions, as I often tell you all. But stop asking dumb stuff that has nothing to do with this. Why are you asking about the damn cash in Minnesota? We're not talking about Minnesota or cash or fraud. Now, let me continue. That all being said, so as I was telling you all, Some people have already crashed out. Okay, no, he's just trying to deflect. And for what? What are you deflecting for?
The more and more shit I see on these fucking Epstein files, the closer and closer I get to fucking prison. Because the video I have just watched absolutely infuriated the fuck out of me. To the point to where I don't even know what the fuck is left or right. I don't know who to fucking trust, no one to fucking believe. And if you're curious about the video I'm talking about, the Skippy video, and I'm not going to talk about it or go into details because it is fucking absolutely horrible. And I'm not saying it's any more horrible than anything else that has happened in this fucking bullshit. But to literally hear the shit that went on in that fucking video, and you can search this up on here. And Pam Bondi had the audacity to say, if we prosecute everybody in those files, the whole system will collapse. I don't give two fucks right now. Make that motherfucker burn to the ground. Maybe it wouldn't be that bad to start the fuck over. But the wildest fucking part is they haven't prosecuted one fucking person yet. Disgusting. Absolutely fucking disgusting. And I'm not saying I'm going to do anything, but y'all better open your fucking eyes before somebody opens them for you. Because there are other people out there that are ready to fucking just get this shit done.
Exactly. Okay, exactly.
All of the horrific shit that we have been reading about in the Epstein files are not just only the things that have been released, but it's what's in writing. All of that heinous shit is just what's in writing. Just think about this. All of the horrific shit that we have been reading about.
We will not fucking accept in this fucking country is the murder, the killing, and the trafficking of fucking children. I don't care what the fuck you want. I don't care if it's black, blue, white, green, yellow. Children is off limits. And if you feel motherfucking uncomfortable about anything I fucking stand right now, you're the fucking problem. You're the fucking problem. You're the fucking problem. One thing we will not.
Now, some people may think that person sounds crazy, but that's a normal reaction. Okay, that is absolutely a normal reaction. Sitting silently and quietly and twiddling your damn thumbs and all this other BS is not normal. Okay, that's not normal.
See another
Silence is complicity.
article calling them women or female friends. They were children, and they would never understand the context of what they were going through. They want you to lose your sense of empathy, but it is innately anti-human. Biologically, evolutionarily, that is our future. We're supposed to be protecting children. We're seeing images of grown men on top of tiny bodies with their faces censored. You will never be able to convince me that a child ever would deserve something like that or is okay after something like that. You have lost humanity if you could even conjure up an excuse for what these children went through. I cannot see another article.
The Epstein files have been released. All of y'all are acting fucking normal. Epstein files have been released. And all of y'all are acting normal. All of y'all are acting normal. They can laugh, but y'all can Google it. They can laugh, but y'all can Google it. The Epstein files have been released, and all of y'all are acting normal. All of y'all are acting normal. All of y'all are acting normal. Everybody in the fucking airport is acting normal. Everybody's calling. No.
Now, I want you to listen to the black woman in the background. She sounds like a whole idiot saying that he's lost his mind. Bitch, you should be losing yours. You should be losing yours while you're sitting there trying to go in on this poor man who's clearly traumatized by what he's seen. Okay, clearly traumatized, but she's sitting there saying, and then she was like, oh, it's too early in the morning for this. Too early in the morning for what?
Shut the fuck up. Wait, don't say nothing. Because the Epstein files, what I'm reading, and everybody in this room can read if you go to Google.
Now, here's what a therapist said. Excuse me for cursing, but you may hear me curse a few times. But let me go to what this therapist said about the people who are crashing out.
Opinion on the viral video of the man in the Atlanta airport screaming about the Epstein files, and people are taking the video as if he's, you know, like going crazy, nuts, having a psychotic break, and they're like kind of seemingly making fun of him. My clinical opinion of this video is that he was the one single person that was willing to actually say out loud in public what people come to my therapy office and say to me on my couch in private. This is what a lot of people are thinking, but not a whole lot of people are really brave enough to say it. We don't have to just keep on with our lives as if nothing is happening. What are we doing? He was the only one responding accordingly to the circumstance that we're all sharing. Like, he's not the one that is losing touch with reality. He was just actually willing to acknowledge it. And you know what? Part of acknowledging this reality is gonna break your mind and break your soul and break your heart. And you're probably gonna scream in an airport, especially when everyone around you is just acting like nothing is happening. I can't emphasize enough. One of the most common things I'm hearing as a therapist right now is I can't believe that everyone around me is just acting normal and going about their lives like nothing is happening. It feels like everything's on fire. Everyone is a horrible person. And I don't even know what's true anymore and what's happening. Like, everyone is fucked up by this, but we're just not talking about it in public with each other. Honestly, I'm super here for his energy, and I hope that he inspires more of us to be really, really, really fucking loud about calling out what's happening and not being silent and pointing out atrocities that are like pretty easy to identify as atrocities. Yeah, we can do this. We can disrupt like this. And thank you to this guy for giving us a great example and being super brave. Thank you.
Now, with that all being said, hold on. Let me go to this video. Let me see. I believe this is it. Hold on, beloveds. Oh, I'm so mad. One of these videos that I wanted to show you all, it is not, for some reason, damn it. Hold on. For some reason, it's not pulling up. Hold on for a second. Okay, here we go. One of the videos where they talk about the black people is the black kids is not pulling up. I'm going to have to go back and try to find it. It's like wanting me to log in, and I don't have time for all that. Okay, so I'll find it later.
Epstein
I'm going to share my, oh, there it is. Okay.
files looking for evidence of a black woman or black victim. And this evidence box got my attention because I was like, wait a minute, that bottle looks familiar. And if you're black, does that look like a bottle of Pump It Up corner store spritz? Like, honestly, is that Pump It Up? And then I found this girl. Apparently she works at Barry University, and I'm wondering if that's her bottle of Pump It Up spritz that was collected as evidence in Jeffrey Epstein's house. Like, they have a lot of photos of her. Then here are 3 more black girls. I don't know if these are victims or if these are recruiters. As we know, Jeffrey Epstein was working with several black women to recruit women as well and girls as well. So I don't know. she is again. I'm assuming it's the same girl. I truly don't know. Here she is again. Again, I don't know if it's the same girl. Yeah, but this was happening at Barry University, guys. Somebody get Barry University on the phone. Does anybody know who this girl is? Yeah, she might have to answer some questions. Again, don't know if these girls are victims or if they are recruiters for Jeffrey Epstein, but there seems to be a lot of photos of these girls. Another one. Here we are again. And finally, who is this little black boy? Is he still alive? Is he a victim? What's going on? Do we recognize him? Who is she?
Okay, so with that all being said, DJ Big Six, I'm about to put you out of here because you're really getting on my nerves. Now you have these dumbass questions. Whose police is the world's leaders? At the end of the day, I think you know why the police aren't doing anything about this. Okay, just like the rest of us know. Okay? Please stop asking dumb questions. Ask me one more dumb question if you want to. Okay? And you're going to F around and find out. I'm not even joking. Now, do you see what it says on this video? It was black kids. It was only one guy that didn't want black kids. Okay, it was only one that didn't want black kids, but the rest of them, they did. And also, let me say this. I'm going to play Sasha Riley's videotapes tomorrow. I don't want to do it today because I'm trying to get out of here. But here's the thing. The bottom line is, hold on. Okay. With that all being said, here's the thing. I'm going to play Sasha Riley's videos and things tomorrow, okay? Now, as I told you all, the hidden files, when they are revealed, because it's all going to have to come out. You see, this is just like the movie Sinners, how they had to invite those vampires in. That's what it is. These people have to show us what they're going to do. I've told you this 1,000 times. It's the universal laws. They have to show it to us. That's why they have predictive programming. That's why they have subliminals in movies and things. Okay? This is what it is all about. Now, at the end of the day, let's listen to this. And this woman, if I'm not mistaken, talks about more than one island. And remember, I told you that the guy who now owns part of TikTok or invested in it, Larry Ellison, bought an island called Lanai Island. And they said he bought it because he was jealous of Jeffrey Epstein's. I don't know, but that's what they say. So let's get into this video and hear what this woman has to say. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance. If you are not here for the broadcast, if it is too disturbing or you just don't want to hear it or don't care, please leave.
I survived the islands. There's more than one. I'm trying to share this information. I really am. Just bear with me. I was on Catalina when I was 7 years old. Anyway, stand with me. Little St. James when I was 8. And multiple more times between then and 14. Those are the only 2 islands I'm able to say right now. Myself won't let me say anything else. There's information coming up. And no, I'm not going through the files.
Can I step up to the call so I can ask one?
Yeah, please.
Well, I don't know how to tie them together, but Montauk Island or Deer Island is also another one because.
Yep. And then go tie that to Montauk, California. Because they are tied together. In ways y'all aren't ready to understand, and my fucking trauma won't let me say yet. Okay? The information is going around. It's coming up. And it needs to. About African American children being more sought after, harmed more. It's in those files. They did. They hurt brown kids more. Brown kids didn't survive. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. There was a reason for that. The brown kids were always more sought after for their blood type, their use.
Like slavery goes back to that.
It really does. And the list.
They said it goes back to slavery. These two were there on the islands, supposedly. And what they say fits with what Sasha Riley says, because Sasha Riley talks about the black girl being killed. Okay, there was a girl that was tortured to death. Tortured to death. That was the black girl. Her name was Samantha. The girl Sarah took her own life because she couldn't take it. The other young girl, I don't remember her name, but she was shot as she lay on the bed. And that was supposedly before Trump came in. And then they made Sasha do things with Trump. Also, these things should be very easy to find and to prove for Pam Bondi and the DOJ. Some of these things should be very easy to corroborate, because I have found things myself that corroborate with what Sasha Riley has said, as well as others. And also, there is a whole list of evidence that Sasha Riley had. There should be medical information, because Sasha Riley also says that he injured Donald Trump in a fight for his life. He injured Donald Trump. He was afraid. He felt like at this point, I'm going to die anyway. I'm going to take him with me. And he did something very heinous to Donald Trump and tried to take him up out of here. But they airlifted Donald Trump to a medical facility, according to Sasha. According to Sasha, that's what he says. It's in the audio. He said it himself. And let's not forget that Sasha was a military vet. And here's some more proof that I'll show you at some point. It's too many receipts to go through and find everything at once, but I have a lot of this stuff in different emails. But here's one thing that I found. Sasha Riley, when he was in the military, I think you all heard him say this the other day when I played his audio. He said that someone in the military with him came to him and asked him if he had ever done corn videos as a kid. And Sasha said, I think he said he wasn't aware that there were videos, or he knew there were videos, but he'd never seen them. And so this person who was in the military with him had seen them, because apparently this person was watching that type of corn. And then there is evidence to show that at least 2 soldiers around that same time that Sasha Riley says he was asked about the corn, there were 2 soldiers, and their faces and names are available in the information. They were arrested for child corn, for watching it. Okay, so it's all adding up as far as I'm concerned, but let's continue.
List of who's responsible for the decisions on all that and why they wanted brown kids more go together. And the list of who's responsible for all that is the exact same list.
We play audio.
Yep. Hold on.
Yeah, but the little black book of Watergate is the same thing as Epstein's list.
Okay. Everybody is looking for who was the one in charge, who should be held responsible.
The CIA is saying Epstein did not run a trafficking ring. Then who was running it?
And I know all of us survivors are aware of it. And I probably saying what you're all aware of too. He was just a pawn. It might have been called Epstein Island, but that's only because they put it in his name, so he'd be the fall guy. That's the best I can do right now. Damn, thanks for listening. Thanks for everyone seeing the children.
Okay, so Miss Asha says, I thought in the email Epstein said no N words for confusing. There was, Epstein did say that. He said for them not to bring any because Donald Trump didn't want any there. He called them boogers or something like that. And then also they said that it was the lady in the video that I played earlier said that there was one person who did not want the black women there. Okay, so that's one person amongst thousands. Because how many people do y'all think are in these files? And how many people do you think were involved in this? And even if Epstein called them the N-words, Epstein's not the only one who was having relations with these people. And also, everything wasn't happening at Epstein Island. Okay, so does that make sense, Miss Asha? Everything wasn't happening at Epstein's Island. There were things happening in New York. There were things happening in New Mexico. There were things happening in different places. There were things happening at some farm. There were things happening in the UK. So just because Epstein said he didn't want or said something about N-words, that doesn't mean a thing. Okay. Now, with that all been said, Epstein was very much into the black people. I found it in the files, and I've shown you all what he was said about the Jamaicans and the Nigerians and all of that stuff. Epstein wanted their DNA, but he also wanted to put his DNA in children. He wanted people all over the world to have his DNA. If you all remember me talking about the movie about Hitler called The Boys of Brazil, that's what it reminded me of when he was saying these things. Okay, so now with that all being said, someone by the name of Tom said they're not buying it because how did Epstein survive so long if he was blackmailing so many powerful people? Well, that's because Epstein had protection. Epstein had many people in his circle. That's likely how he got out of prison, because during all of this, we've now found that he was allegedly taken out of prison before they announced that he took his own life in a wheelchair. Okay, now for the people who have so many questions, it's obvious to me that not a single one of you has read the files. It would behoove you to read the files. Anybody saying you don't believe something or you don't get it or whatever, that's because you're not doing any research. Okay, one thing about it is if you have questions, do the research yourself. And that way you don't have to listen to me or anyone else, period. And people get away, for the record, people get away with blackmailing the wealthy, rich people all of the time. And what you should ask yourself, since people want to ask themselves, well, you know, they want to say, well, how come he lived and he got away with it, da-da-da. Why don't you ask yourselves that if Sasha Riley and other people are lying on Donald Trump or any of the other people like Leon Black, why the hell aren't these people filing defamation lawsuits? Huh? Why aren't they doing anything? Because I guarantee you, if somebody was saying some egregious things, such as the things going on in these files about me, I would absolutely be filing a defamation, libel, and slander lawsuit post haste. There would be no time to waste. Okay, there would be no time to waste. So Trump sues everybody. Trump sued CBS. He sued the Wall Street Journal, Rupert Murdoch. Okay, Trump sued the IRS even recently. Now, if these things are not true, why isn't Donald Trump suing anyone for lying on him? Why isn't he doing that? No, he's not doing that. He's saying that it's a hoax and that we should move on. Okay, and I'll tell you another thing. When we're sharing some of this information on TikTok, we're getting notifications that come up and say things like, do you want to, are you sure you want to share this? You know, this isn't verified. Oh, you can only share this one time. They're like limiting the amount of times that you can share stuff. So that lets me know that it's probably more likely than not, this stuff is absolutely true. Because they don't limit you sharing misinformation on TikTok. That's what they don't do. What they will do is limit you sharing the truth that they don't want to get out.
What's at the bottom of the Epstein rabbit hole?
Congratulations, you've made it to the bottom of the Epstein rabbit hole. Pay close attention. Jeffrey Epstein was on the board of directors for an organization called the Lifeboat Foundation. He was also on the board of directors for an organization called Teachers in Space. Look them both up. They actually exist. They have websites. They don't even try to hide what they're doing. The Lifeboat Foundation builds giant underground cities, okay? They openly advertise it, and for a fee, and with an application letter, they might accept you to join their little society where they apparently have whole cities underground. They also advertise being able to take their clients off-world in the event of a catastrophe. And it's really interesting because Teachers in Space also talks about taking payloads off-world, which is all really weird, right? It gets even more interesting. You see, Donald Barr was the one who inducted Jeffrey Epstein with zero experience into the Dalton Institute, where he was a teacher. Donald Barr wrote a really interesting book called Relations in Space about an aristocratic elite trafficking children into space. Are you following me here? What's even weirder is the district attorney that was supposed to prosecute Jeffrey Epstein and bring him to justice was literally William Barr, Donald Barr's son. Now, the Lifeboat Foundation is really interesting because in 1996, they pioneered wireless money transfers. They're the second organization in the world to ever do this. This is a decade or two before Bitcoin even was a concept, right? So you got an organization that is doing wireless money transfers that are untraceable, large sums of money, and they're building giant underground infrastructures. It gets even weirder. I found out through looking on archive.org that Lifeboat Foundation has a homeless youth outreach program. And they used to have a whole station in Rhinelander, Wisconsin, and a whole board of people. They're all out of the Rhinelander, Wisconsin area. And they had this meeting in 2017, a homelessness problem solving meeting, right? So you have an organization that's interested in homeless youth, interested in wireless money transfers, and interested in underground infrastructure. I don't know if you guys heard about Sasha Riley, but he's telling the truth. He was trafficked by the Epstein elite. He was in snuff films that he survived, but he witnessed people get unalived. And what I'm telling you is it gets crazier. The reason why Epstein surrounded himself with a scientific elite is because he was doing human cloning and he was doing consciousness transferal and stuff like this. I swear to God, I know this gets crazy, but it's true. And what I'm telling you is he had celebrities down there. He had a cloning center down there. And I know because I was in some of these films. They're on the dark web. I'm in films on the dark web, okay? And what they're going to try to say is it's all AI because there's celebrities and stuff in it. It's not, all right? It's not AI.
They're definitely going to try to tell you it's AI when all of this stuff comes out and is revealed. And here's the thing. I've known about the cloning centers for years. Donald Marshall spoke of this. Okay, B.O.B., the rapper from Atlanta, spoke of this. At the end of the day, Donald Marshall was a victim since he was 5 years old. When he told people things, they thought he sounded crazy. I'm going to show you a video of some children. I had to edit it, but I'm going to show you the Hamstead twins. I'm going to show you the Hamstead twins. Hold on just a second. Is this it? Hold on. I think I forgot to upload that darn video. I'll go to that in a second. But in the meantime, let's talk about how Turkey, hold on. Turkey is conducting an investigation into this already. Okay, this came out, I want to say yesterday.
We have some breaking news. A claim is circulating that thousands of Turkish children were sold to Epstein for millions of dollars. And because of that allegation, Turkey has now officially opened an investigation. The Ankara Chief Public Prosecutor's Office launched a probe after excerpts from newly released Epstein-related documents were publicly highlighted. Those excerpts allegedly reference underage girls from multiple countries, including Turkey, being transported within Epstein's network. Turkish authorities have not confirmed that Turkish minors were trafficked. What they have confirmed is that they feel that what they're seeing is credible enough to review the sections of the documents that mention Turkey to determine whether there is evidence linking any crimes to Turkish nationals or Turkish territory. This also isn't the first time similar claims have surfaced. In 2024, a prior complaint involving alleged links to Turkey ended in a non-prosecution decision due to insufficient evidence. Supporters of a renewed review argue that the newly released materials justify taking another look. So that is where things stand right now. Another country taking action while the U.S. keeps protecting offenders. That is the update. Make sure to follow so that you don't miss these breakdowns. Comment your thoughts.
All right. Okay, so there you all have that. Hold on. Now, They talk about the Hamstead children. They try to say that it was a hoax, just like they did with the McMartin daycare scandal. Now, I need you all to pay attention because you all know that for years I've told you that my professor told me, and I'm talking about the same professor. If you remember the Black History Month episode that I did the other night about the Morrisford Bridge, my professor, Cheryl McCullum, who was in that, she's the same professor that I'm speaking about when I tell you that my professor told us that, you know, people who prey upon children get jobs that put them in careers that put them in close proximity to children. So I want you to think about how back in 1983, they had the McMartin daycare scandal, where children were saying these same things, okay? And they were dismissed, and the people got off. After a 6-year trial, the people were found innocent, okay? They were acquitted of these heinous things. Now, the same thing applies for the Hamstead kids. They were basically trying to say they were lying. Their mother brought them forward, and because they said that their father was at a school with the headmistress of the school and other people doing these things to them. And the father tried to, you know, basically said the mother made it all up and fed it to the kids to make them believe it. But these kids, I don't think they're lying at all.
Epstein files pretty much confirming that our world is ran by a bunch of baby-eating pedophile elites. Let's talk about the Hamstead hoax. The Hamstead hoax was a series of allegations that 175 parents, school teachers, and religious leaders were running a satanic pedophile cult in the Hamstead area of North London in 2014. Allegedly, this cult would kill babies, drink their blood, and they would allegedly dance around while wearing baby skulls and shoes made of baby skin. One day, 2 kids who happened to be the children of this satanic pedophile baby-eating cult came to police with these allegations. When these kids came to police with these allegations, they told everything in such great detail. These kids alleged that their father would kill babies, eat their meat, drink their blood, and even force them to participate in these rituals as well. Due to how extreme these allegations were, police initially did not even believe these kids whatsoever. However, even though the police were skeptical, they still launched a search anyways and began searching around that church for any secret rooms that might have been used for these alleged rituals. But police could never find these secret rooms that were allegedly used for these rituals, and they also couldn't find any evidence that these rituals took place either. However, when these kids came to police with these allegations, they told these allegations in such great detail that it's pretty hard not to believe, especially with all of this Jeffrey Epstein shit going on right now, and the Epstein files pretty much confirming that the elites who run our world participate in these ritualistic events like eating children and drinking their fucking blood. These kids came to police with this information back in 2014 that their elitist father was killing babies, eating their meat, and drinking their blood, and the police quite literally did nothing and couldn't find any evidence that this shit ever happened. However, if you're a police officer running around searching for evidence of this shit happening, you're not going to find any evidence because that motherfucker literally ate and drank all of the evidence away. He eats baby meat and drinks baby blood.
Okay, he's going on a whole rant. Now, here you will hear the mother of the Hamstead twins speaking. And next, I'm going to play them actually speaking themselves. Okay, but this is their mother. And the children were taken away from her and given back to the father, who was alleged to have been doing these things to them.
My children, Alisa and Gabrielle, suffer horrendous, sadistic physical, emotional, psychological, and spiritual abuse in school at the hands of their father, Ricky Diamond, headmistress Kate Forsdyke, Louise Hollings, Nina Martin, and the rest of the teachers in Christchurch School, social workers, parents, and the members of the Metropolitan Police Service. They were then further abused, damaged, and traumatized by the authorities, who removed them from the care of a loving mother and family. Alisa and Gabrielle were essentially jailed and held incommunicado for all this time since September 2014. My entire family, my parents, my son, their brother, my sister, uncle and aunts, all of whom children are very close to, have been denied contact without any court order in place. Initially, my children were taken away from me on the pretext that I wasn't capable to protect them from the abuse in school. However, once Alisa and Gabrielle were snatched, they were forced to retract, and the criminal acts were covered up. The Satanists who have my children tattoo and pierce the genitalia of the special children. I would like to remind everyone that all the children from the so-called special families, all the teachers, and a lot of the parents have devil tattoos on their private parts. Many of them have irremovable distinguishing marks, such as birthmarks, as in case of the headmistress Kate Forsdyke, with her port wine stain all over her thighs and pudenda, Galina Upson's birthmarks, and Nina Marsden mole, the size of a 5-pence piece. All this evidence has been forwarded to the police, including the children's drawings of the distinguishing marks. To this day, none of the perpetrators, including the children's biological father, Ricky Diamond, was arrested and investigated. Not a single mobile or laptop has been seized, apart from Jean Clément's laptop with the children's testimonies. My children, Alisa and Gabrielle, suffer horrendous, sadistic.
Okay, so you all heard that. She said they made her children recant their statements. Okay, now here are the children that she's talking about. These are her twin children.
So because they do that, because after, as I said, we kill babies, we drink their blood, we eat them. Okay. But then after, so the social services who are in it,
yeah.
They go to families, so if the families can't afford, so they get a baby but they can't look after it or anything, they can't buy food or they can't buy clothes, they can't look after it, so the families who sell their children,
yeah.
So the social services get them, they say they get them to a foster home, but they don't. They get the babies or the children, and then they get Miss Marden, yeah. Our nurse in our school, she injects the child or baby in the neck just here though.
Right, okay, and how do you know that?
Because I saw her doing it.
How did you see her doing it?
Because I saw her in the staff room. She was getting this so she got this injection, and she done. So the baby was there. It was just sitting on the table, right. And I was just laughing there. And after she just injected her, and it was it was slowly went to sleep, but not just like a thud, not like just fell straight away. They put, because it looked like it was slowly moving down like that.
Right.
Yes. Okay. So then after
so baby's gone to sleep.
Yes, and then after they get put on this bit, they get the baby, they hang it upside down.
And yes,
with
down?
The string.
From where?
On the wall, because there's this little like is a screw, and they put a string, it's like a circle string, yeah. Tie it to the legs, hang it upside down, and then they get the knife they use for cutting the baby's head off. So you know this big ones, like this big Chinese ones, yeah. Which you chop up coconut and stuff.
Right.
Yes, they get cleavers, aren't they? No.
Okay.
I don't know what they're called.
You've described it well enough.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
So then because our dad, he forces me and Gabriel to do it. But because we can't, we're not strong enough to cut the baby's head off, he has us to hold the knife, and he puts his hand at the top of our hand, and he helps us to cut the baby's head off. Because he's learning, he's teaching me and Gabriel, so when we're older, to do it to our own children and do this kind of stuff to our own children.
Where is it this that happens?
The church, the kitchen in our church.
The kitchen in the church.
Yes, they got. Yes.
So right, this string. Tell me about this string.
So it's just like, it's not just like just a thin normal string. It's a bit thick. It's like maybe that thick.
Okay.
And they tie around.
Okay.
Like in a circle.
Right.
hang it up on his.
Where do they tie it to on the baby?
So it's like on legs. So they put the legs together, tie it on, and so it's like one string around and then one string attached, and it's hanging upside down. They get the knife, but they don't just cut it off absolutely. It's still on, so they slide the head off, but it's still hanging on.
So okay.
Yes, and then there's a big white bowl on the floor, and then the blood drips in, and then we pour it in a big silver goblet.
Okay, so where's this white bowl? Where did they get the white bowl from?
They bought the big white bowl. Big church, and we use it for sex. Baby, drinking baby's blood. We sacrifice the baby. We do the babies. We throw them when we're dancing with the skulls after the babies are dead.
What skulls?
The baby skulls.
From before?
Yeah, from before. We put it on.
Where did the baby skulls come from?
They come from the baby.
How did you get them from the baby?
We cut the baby's head off. Then we clear all the meat from the skulls. And then we put all the meat and cook it. Sometimes we roast it. Sometimes we roast it in the oven. Sometimes we cook it on a frying pan.
You told me there's some restaurants.
Yeah, and there's some restaurants, and McDonald's in Hamstead, and East Finchley. And East Finchley is a swimming pool, and in East Finchley there's a swimming pool, and the whole East Finchley does it. The boss does it. Everybody does it.
He said everybody does it, and they also mentioned McDonald's in Hamstead is where they would take the remains. Okay, and there's another person who said something about McDonald's too. So y'all keep eating that fast food if you want to. Okay, now let's go to their father with his lying self, in my opinion. Okay, this is the father who claims that he didn't do a thing. Okay, acted as though the mother was trying to make the kids just say these things because she was not with him any longer. I'm going to use an overlay for this.
Ricky Dearman. He is the father figure of these two kids who you've probably seen their videos all over the internet.
If I've done something wrong, find it, bring it to the table.
Let's go through this case together because it's quite suspicious to me.
Your children were interviewed on 3 separate occasions by the police. On the first and second occasion, they made the allegations about you.
Yes.
Abusing them, sexually abusing them, being the leader of this satanic cult. Various other adults involved.
Yes.
Abused in all sorts of places, fast food restaurants, churches, swimming pools.
Swimming baths, sure, yes.
It was on the third occasion that they were interviewed that they admitted, whatever word you want to use, that it was all made up, that they'd been forced to say these things by their mother's partner, or he threatened to hurt them.
Yes.
When you knew that your children had said these things we've been saying are all made up, how did you respond?
This I felt pleased about.
The father had always threatened to kill them if they were to talk. So the mother never knew why their behavior was as it was. But when they were on holiday together, her partner observed that they were touching each other and themselves sexually. And he asked them, "Who taught you that?" And they said, "Papa." That's how it began, that the children talked, and then they made a few videos, and they called me, but the mother called me after the children had been taken into care and needed some help.
Guys, you've just won eBay's 2017 Business Award winners. This kind of moment of silence for 2 or 3 seconds, then there's screaming. It's just really cool. It's bizarre. It really is bizarre. It's magical.
So what they're doing here, in my opinion, is bragging in 2017 that they got away with it. They're doing a video that, look at them, he's now got custody of the kids. He calls himself Gab Williams now, was Ricky Dearman, and his company Wonderful Slime. How ironic.
We are here
crying for help. There are children screaming to be heard. If you don't hear those children scream, who will?
As a former police officer of 20 years, I had the opportunity of actually sitting with a mother in this case for 3 hours. I can absolutely tell you with my experience of interrogation over a 20-year period, as a former detective sergeant, she was speaking 110% truth. I also know that we have child abuse in this country to epidemic levels. I was on Saturday sitting with a former MP from the Home Office who categorically stated to me that we've got now about 1 in 10 children being abused. And we have a police force that's in denial, and it's not new. I know that. It comes from senior levels. We now need to recognise this and start acting on it to change the ethos of what is wrecking so many children's lives and costing so much deprivation and degradation to the way we live on this planet.
Do you think it's a coincidence that she's wearing this choker?
When I got the phone call, and I think it's a Monday morning, we just couldn't believe it in the office. It was amazing.
I couldn't believe it to begin with, actually. When I got the phone call, I was really taken back. I wanted to cry. I've not won anything before, so I was really surprised.
I'm delighted about winning. This is really important. It's great recognition, and so it's meant a great deal to me. That recognition is really important.
And can you imagine a normal life with them at some point in the future?
Oh, yeah. It's just going to take a lot of time and patience and love, and but I absolutely know it will be back to where it was. There will be a shadow. There'll always be that shadow, but it's just going to be a shadow. It's not going to overrule or overwhelm the children in my life and myself's lives. It just won't. It won't.
What do you think the impact on you has been?
Imagine what the children must have had to do in their own psyche, in their own minds, to eventually give up to beatings and stuff, to say this stuff.
What was it that hurt the most in terms of those allegations?
Knowing that they didn't want to say it in the first place. That's, yeah.
How are you now?
Your mom, your mother, yeah. I think any mom or father in their right mind want to protect and love. I mean, what a great job. Yes, it's hard. It's a gift. So about how I feel he's getting for the children to feel protected again.
Sure, priority.
Yeah. To feel safe, to be normal. Yeah. I mean, these are just fundamentals. Should be.
It's really disgusting that this man was giving back the children that accused him of doing these heinous things. The mother who tried to protect them was simply dismissed, cast aside, and accused of getting the children to lie, and in fact, accused of coaching them to say these things, her and her partner. This man right here is a devil, as far as I'm concerned. And the fact that those children had to be sent back to him is absolutely insane. Okay, and then to say that they made it all up, that they were coached into saying it, well, here's the thing. What children at their young ages could have remembered all of those things and told it in such explicit details? Not to mention, some of the things they said are exactly what Sasha Riley has said. They're exactly what a guest on Geraldo has said, which I'm going to go to that in a moment. But there have been other kids that have said these same things. Let's not forget the story that I reported to you last week, which I also reported to you in 2020. It's an old story about the 2 girls, 11 and 12, who took goblets and knives and daggers and a pizza cutter to school to murder 15 to 25 students so they could drink their blood. Where do you think they learned it from? They were clearly at some sort of satanic meeting.
Should be. Yeah.
Why do you want to talk about this to us?
That the children should not be put through this, and parents shouldn't be stopping another parent from seeing their children, regardless of what goes on or what dynamic goes on between mom and dad, and that people, other family members who have had their own children named in this wrongly. I'm sorry for that. I'm really sorry that they've had to go through this as well. Again, it's not just myself and my children, but there are other families suffering.
He's talking too slow, and I'm over it. Now, with that all being said, let's go to what Jeffrey Epstein is saying about Black people on this clip.
There's this argument that I reject that Black people are less intelligent than white people. It's not true.
Okay.
We know, for example, that if I was in the forest and I had to run from the lion or figure out a way not to be eaten, and my competition is a local African, I'm the one who's getting eaten because they have the intelligence to deal with their local environment.
Why you put us straight to Africa?
So it's just different. It's not better, it's not worse, but there's many differences amongst different types of people. And so people have different intelligences, and they excel in some intelligences usually and less so in others.
Now, the reason Jeffrey Epstein was going to Africa, in my opinion, is because it was easier to get the African children, okay, than it was to get them in America. They had allegedly some of the Black or the African presidents in allowing them to do these nefarious things for money. Now, this, you're going to hear Sasha Riley, who's going to talk about the girl by the name of Samantha. And remember, Samantha is the girl who I told you that is Black.
Investigation when they found blood in the room where you and Samantha.
Not that it should matter. These are all children. So to me, it shouldn't even matter.
Samantha were held. Did they experience awareness Samantha had died, or had Samantha's body been moved already? So they were investigating.
They were investigating. Samantha's body had already been moved, and the only thing that they had was the one eyewitness account, and what they told the police was that she was a runaway that they took in for a period of time, and then she ran back away.
So they never even saw Samantha's body?
No. As far as I know, it's never been recovered.
So Samantha's body was never recovered.
As far as I know, it has not been. But that blood in that room was from her, because that was the thing. It did not match any of us, and it was hers.
Now, let's see. So Samantha's body wasn't recovered. There was a full investigation, and you said you told the FBI what you remembered, or you told the police that?
I told the police many, many years later.
Many years later. But not right then. Recall, many years later.
Yes. Okay. I don't think I was even allowed to speak to the
That's what I recall.
officers.
Okay, no, that's okay. That's what I remember you said. So
yes.
Years later, so let's just jump forward a bit in terms of you told the police when you filed your police or FBI reports years later. So what years did you file those reports?
Would have been around 2021. 2020, maybe.
2020, 2021.
Yes.
Okay. So, and then you told the police.
Yes. I said, and you know, I really tried to stick with the things that could be verified, like going back and looking at the investigations and stuff like that. I remember more stuff that you can't get anything to really corroborate. So I just tried to focus on, okay, well, I know this generated a police report. I remember this generated a police report. So I just stuck to those things, which was kind of the same thing that I did with you.
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't actually have those police reports, but they should exist.
Yeah, and those again are ones that you can request copies of those police reports or FBI reports. And that's one of the questions the constable asked me, and I think it's helpful just in terms of perceptually. The constable said, well, why don't you have copies of the police reports? And I said, well, I would ask you that. That's, early in our discussions. Let me ask you a question. When you got the police reports and so on, that was 2020, 21. I mean, I know that when I filed complaints, you don't usually get a copy right away. You have to request the report, right? So when you filed those reports, what's the standard in the United States? They offer you copies. Is it just assumed that you would have to request a copy of those reports?
I can go. I mean, Lawton is just 30-something miles away. I can go and request, the disposition of that case. I'm sure it's been closed, but I can go request it.
Yeah. Okay.
I can do that one. I don't think that would raise any red flags. Let me see. Let me go tomorrow and see if I can get a copy of that one. That one might be the easiest, the most attainable one for me to get right now. I don't have to cross any state lines or anything to go get that.
So the Lawton one is from 2020, 2021-ish.
Yes, I could be wrong on that. I'm in my mind, I'm thinking I still had my Jeep. So that would have been around that time, because I was trying to remember what vehicle I drove.
And that was the first time as an adult that you'd filed a police report, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And did you file an FBI report during the same year, or?
I reached out to the FBI and spoke to them on first through social media, and then we did a follow-on back and forth, but that was it. I never went to like the FBI building and sat down and gave a deposition or anything like that. His response was just to go to the local police, and that should trigger a larger scale investigation. So that's what I did. To the best of my recollection, I reached out to the FBI in the beginning because I knew that the FBI had been involved in the one in Alabama, in that investigation in Alabama with in regards to Samantha.
Yeah.
And also they were involved in the investigation that landed the parents of the girl that I did the one movie with in Tennessee in jail. I know that the FBI was involved in that one as well. So I figured they were, as the larger scale operation, they would be the ones to go to, but they then referred me back down to the local police.
Sort of what occurred with me yesterday when I was trying to get in touch with somebody more in international policing with the RCMP. They seem to, whatever their sort of procedures are, they seem to sometimes get a little caught up in following procedures instead of thinking like of the specifics of each case. So
right.
I understand. So, okay. So you talked to this FBI, they told you to go to the police. You
Yes.
filed the police report, and you can get a copy of the report in Lawton.
Yes.
Now
I'll do that tomorrow.
Okay. So Friday, will you just sort of like, let's sort of set a sort of standard about check in with me morning and evening wellness checks. Okay. I would just feel better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And I will get you the DD-214. I'll get you that in the next few minutes here.
So DD-214, and then
Yes.
Friday you'll get the police report.
Yes, and
then the medical, the paperwork from the
that's
hospital.
a little bit more of a involved process, but
Yeah.
sure, I don't mind riding.
Okay, so
ride down to Alabama and grabbing that.
Okay, so DD-214, police report, paperwork from hospital. Then we're looking at the Army buddies, Fort Carson Army buddies.
Yes.
And while we're sort of sorting out in terms of all the other police reports you're mentioned in, would you be mentioned in the report where the other girl's parents were charged?
Yes. Yes, because they investigated my parents. They knew it was me in the video. They just didn't have enough evidence to convict my parents. They got the girl's parents because even though they were careful not to show the faces of us, the children in the film, they had enough identifying features of the house, of the basement where we filmed the film, and it was the house of the parents of the girl is where we filmed it.
Okay. So those are really important reports to get, but we've got to figure out how to get those safely because those.
Now, it's important to note that when Sasha Riley is talking about films that he was involved in, some of these films were actually snuff films. Okay? He said they had a snuff ring. Okay? He said they also had a snuff ring where they would murder these children on film. Okay, let's continue.
Those could certainly, if there's a bunch of those that you request, they could get flagged. I need to sort of simmer about, because there's all requests that we should be getting all of those in. But maybe starting with that report, I'll just figure out, let's kind of noodle a bit about getting those safely. Because it's simple enough to request the reports. I just don't want you to request the reports, although sometimes you can get them faster in terms of victim reports, but I want to just be really careful.
Right. Right.
And then I just feel like super careful with Alan as well, right? Because I was looking at some of Alan's posts, and Alan seems to like to sort of post about, when Alan's posted something that the MAGA Republicans have gotten angry at. So we want to be careful that Alan wouldn't, not to say a bunch of swear words, fuck shit up.
Yeah. I kind of got that from the.
Okay, I'm gonna go. Let me pull up that Geraldo video. Now, there's something that the person says. Hold on. There's something that the child says that I want to try to skim past so I don't get into any trouble. So, let me see where it is. Because I haven't had a chance to edit this video. Okay, I didn't have a chance to edit it, but I'm just going to play it. I'm going to skim past something that he says, and I'm going to also use an overlay because this is an old video from Geraldo's show back in the 80s or early 90s, whenever his show was on.
You're how old, honey?
9.
Your mommy is saying some things about some bad things that happened. Do you remember bad things that happened?
Yes.
Do you think that you could tell us, can you tell us one thing?
Yes. Like when my dad would come in the middle of the night and put his...
Okay, I'm going to stop it right there because it said his father would come in his room in the middle of the night and put something, a cucumber, okay, in where. Okay, I'm going to try to skip past that. Hold on, let me just mute it.
Does Amber know anything about the ritual stuff? And do you...
I'm sorry, that's a little girl. She looks like a little boy by the way they have the baseball cap on her. But just listen to how the sadness in her little voice, clearly so traumatizing. Please pay attention.
Did they ever dress up in a costume, or did they? Tell me.
Sometimes they dress up in like capes, like things, and they'd pray to the devil, and they'd kill children.
Now, did you ever see anything bad like that?
Yes. Well, they'd hurt the children, and then they'd hurt them sexually, and then they'd kill the children.
To Amber, you're...
Okay, so she said they would hurt them sexually and then they would kill the children. Okay, these kids are not lying. Okay, DJ Big Six says, wow, Geraldo knew too. Everybody knew. He did a whole interview. Everybody who saw that interview knew. The world knew. They covered it up. They were told that these children were lying. They were told that these children were coerced and forced to say these things by angry parents or whomever else. And they came up with this lie about some sort of mass hysteria that they called satanic panic. Okay, where they said these people were just making these things all up, that these people were experiencing some sort of mass hysteria. Now, with that all being said, let's go to this next video. This is a young girl. This girl's story always felt strange to me. After the Epstein files were leaked, everything suddenly makes sense. I think her grandmother was one of them. Well, that's what the person who posted it says. And after listening, I think her grandmother was one of them as well. Okay, so let's get into it. This is another child talking about these things.
Who was the leader? Who was the boss of the gang, of the cult?
At home, it was my nan.
Your nan made.
Yeah. Like goats and donkeys.
How many men?
What, at one time?
Yes.
But everyone who was there, which must have been about 20, you know, from 10 to 20 people. If it was a big ceremony, it used to be 30.
What would your grandma be doing when these men were forcing themselves on you?
Usually laughing or smiling.
Now, this child's own grandmother, her own grandmother was sitting there laughing and smiling when these things were happening to her. 10 or 20 men. Okay? And I think she mentioned goats and donkeys in the beginning.
Or other men.
A chronicle of debauchery and depravity so horrific it's hard to believe. You have to ask yourself, could Teresa be just making it up?
No. I know what's true and what's not. No, I know what I saw.
This couldn't be a terrible dream, a nightmare that you're reliving.
No. It's no dream. It's a nightmare, but it's not one you can wake up from. It's there all the time.
This really happened, you're quite sure of that?
Yeah.
During these ceremonies, was Satan, the devil, ever referred to?
He was called Lucifer.
What did they say about the devil, about Lucifer?
That killing the people made him happy.
Sacrifices to please the devil. According to Teresa, the worst rituals took place at a house somewhere in the country.
It was big, you know, expensive. From the front, it looked like a castle. You know, it had a long drive and big double wooden doors.
Do you think they were rich people then?
Very rich. There was a tramp who was brought in once, you know, and he was killed. He was cut from his throat down to his stomach. And they ate him, or bits of him.
They killed a man at a ceremony?
Yeah.
In front of you?
Yeah, in front of all of us.
Did the tramp, did this man fight back?
No, I think he was, you know, drunk or something. He seemed really dopey. He was laughing a lot when he was brought in. And he started screaming when they began to cut. But after a while, you know, he died. I'd seen a few killings before then, although I wasn't used to it, you know, that was the worst one. I really don't know what I thought. I suppose I thought, thank God it's not me.
Let me get this right now. Are you saying that you saw more than one person killed in that house?
Yeah. I've seen loads of babies killed there, just newborn babies, or aborted ones which were only small. You know, 4-year-olds. Any age, really.
Did they ever say they might kill you?
They threatened to kill my little girl, who, when I left, was still at the house.
A friend?
Huh?
What little girl?
My little girl, Alex. She's about 4 now.
You mean you had a child?
Yeah.
How old were you when you had that child?
11.
Motherhood?
What would happen to the fetuses, the unborn babies?
An 11-year-old child giving birth. And then when she was able to leave, they told her if she said anything, they would kill her child, who was only 4 years old. Awful.
I used to be taken away most of the time, and one time the baby was taken out of me and then killed in front of me because it was still alive.
And then what would happen?
Well, after they killed it, they would eat it. But we were also made to eat it.
Do you all hear this? They made her have the baby. They killed it. So she's had multiple babies. And then they would eat it and make them eat it. Now, I want you all to pay attention because, you know, the thing is this. When it has been alleged that they have put some of this stuff in different fast food establishments, this is all alleged. But when they have said this, it has been said also that they did this to make people who don't have anything to do with this unwitting participants. Because I want you to pay attention. You see, when you consume something like an animal that's slaughtered, you know the saying, you are what you eat. When someone slaughters an animal and then you consume that meat from that animal, you may take on some of the characteristics of that animal. You may experience trauma. Okay, you may not even know where you're getting it from. So imagine children being tortured and murdered and in depraved, heinous ways. And then their DNA being put in something that other people consume. You don't think those other people would be experiencing trauma? Jay Gray telling me that's the beef jerky. Well, of course it is. Of course it is. We know the beef jerky is absolutely human meat, but that's not the only thing. They had cream cheese, which is the white stuff that's on newborns when they come out, when they're first born. They talked about putting that on their bagels. They talk about eating the mother's breast milk from the children's intestines. All of this is in the files. At the end of the day, it's all sick and disgusting. But people have been saying something about this for decades, and nothing has been done. Because here's why. They put this information out there back then when this information was coming out. It was maybe 1 or 2 people coming out, you know, every few years or whatever, saying these things, and they would always be dismissed. Now that we have all of these files and we have all of these big names in it, because no one knew really the names before other than the children whose parents were involved. But now we have the names of all of these big time people that are involved in this. And now all of these different governments, aside from the United States, are conducting their own investigations. This is all going to come out. And let me tell you something. At the end of the day, the Most High has shown me that the truth is going to come out. Okay, they can't hide it any longer. It's all going to come out at the end of the day. Okay, so when all of this stuff is revealed, You know, I know it's a lot for people to grasp, but the people who don't want to believe it are going to be forced to believe it when by the time all of this comes out. At the end of the day, they're going to be forced to believe it because it's going to be too much for them to deny. Okay, now let's continue.
You were made to eat your own fetus.
Yeah.
Who made you do this?
My nan.
Did you ever try to run away? You must have been frightened.
A couple of times I did, but my uncle, he caught me and brought me back.
Going to the police. Did that occur to you?
No. No. I thought it was normal, you know, even though I didn't like it. It was never any different. I didn't have nothing to compare it to. They had a tub, you know, pretty big, I don't know. A fairly big tub, and they used to put the bodies and bones in there. And then there was nothing left.
Now, let me just tell you something else. When I was telling you all about the concentration camps that they're building, currently they're allegedly building concentration camps. People have come out and said that they're building them in their backyards. You know, they have one that they're building for 1,500 kids. It's a children's concentration camp. Let me tell you all something. What do you think they're building a children's concentration camp for? Why do you think they want to put people in concentration camps? What do you think is going on with some of these people in detention centers? You see, all of this stuff is still going on. It has never ended. It has never stopped. These people are still doing these things.
Well, they didn't seem to be, but when they cleared it out, there used to be a sludge at the bottom.
Also witnessed a 9-day-old baby being slaughtered for human sacrifice.
Audrey Harper. She spent 5 years in a satanic cult before she escaped.
Why did they kill that baby? Why sacrifice a child?
Satan likes pure sacrifice, and human sacrifice is better than animal sacrifice. So they are pleasing the master. Warlock, the master. The high priest of the covenant.
Married to the devil, is that what it meant?
Yes, only, you know, there's no ceremony. But the act of unity completes my initiation ceremony. I now belong mind, body and soul to Satan.
Married to the devil. A consistent pattern, it seems. Audrey when she was 22, Teresa when she was a little girl.
They used to marry the kids to Lucifer. So that we were part of him, you know, we were his.
Did that include you? Were you married to the devil?
Yeah. He used to be, and it was just like a marriage in a church, but different words, you know.
What were you taught about Lucifer?
Just that we should, you know, be his friend, treat him as a friend. And that he's always there if we ever need him.
Why do they do such wicked things in these covens?
Because they're pleasing Satan. The lower you become, the more vile you become, the more pleased Satan is with you. And therefore, the more power you'll get when you die.
And they believe this?
They believe it. They absolutely believe it.
Who was the leader?
Absolutely egregious. Okay, do you think all of these people are making this up? Oh my God, this is so sick. Let me just tell you all something. So I have been telling you all about this book or this movie called 120 Days of Sodom. Some people call it Salo, which is the Italian word for it. Let me just say this. I'm going to read you some excerpts from what happened in this movie. Now, I have actually seen the movie years ago, so I didn't see the whole thing. I saw like maybe 15 minutes. It was so disgusting. I could not watch. Okay, but I'm going to tell you all a bit about it. Now, Barilla says allegedly DHS FEMA has concentration camps. All right, I absolutely believe that to be true. Okay, and thank you for your insight into the topic and your contribution to the channel. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Now, I'm going to pull this up. That's right, Sosa said everyone can't be lying. Now, listen to this. This is telling you about the movie 120 Days of Sodom. Okay, because they were taking people to Sodom and Gomorrah, and y'all know what I mean when I say that. But also the director who wrote this, Pier Paolo Bassini, I think is his name. Hold on, I'll tell you in just a second. Nonetheless, this man came up dead. Okay, came up dead. Now we'll talk about his murder, okay, on another live. I'm not going to get into all that today. So anyway, the orgy takes place. Now this is about the movie. Now I want you to listen to this because this movie is telling you everything these people are saying. Everything these people have said, these survivors, the stuff in the documents, the movie talks about. Now I want you to pay attention because the young lady that we just heard from, or the young girl that we just heard from, she said that she was forced to eat her own feces. Now listen to this. And the man who made this movie was killed because this movie was made. They've already said that. The orgy takes place from November the 1st to February the 28th and is organized according to rules and a strict timetable to which each of the victims must adhere on pain of corporal punishment or death. SEX sessions are scheduled before and after a session of storytelling each evening. Each storyteller is on duty for a month, and each evening she recounts a story from her life that illustrates 5 passions, perversions of laws of nature and religion. Over the 4 months, therefore, there will be 120 stories. That's why it's called 120 Days of Sodom, illustrating 600 passions. These passions are in 4 categories: increasing complexity and savagery, simple, complex, criminal, and murderous. The 4 libertines frequently interrupt these stories to indulge in the described passions with the victims and others. They also emulate the passions in orgies after the stories are told, because they get sexually excited and aroused when they hear these stories, so now they want to have orgies. Okay, so the background to the 120-day orgy is presented in detail, along with character portraits of 4 libertines and their daughters. Okay, I'm going to skip past some of this. I don't want to read the whole thing. Let me just go down to where they start the foolishness. Part 1, November, the simple passions. These anecdotes are written in detail. They are simple in the sense of not including sexual intercourse. The stories include sexual abuse of children, urine drinking, vomit drinking, coprophilia, and necrophilia. Now, we know that necrophilia is when you are doing things with deceased people's bodies, okay? That's what that is. Now, corprophilia, okay, that is basically something to do with feces, defecation, especially as a source of sexual arousal. Okay, that's what that is what that means. Now, Blangus opines that nature teaches us to hate our mothers. He later adds that the crime is in itself pleasurable and thus to accordance with nature. Okay, I'm going to skip past that and go down to part 2. This is December, when the second round starts. The complex passions. These anecdotes written in note form involve acts such as men who the private parts of women. They R-word children as young as 3 and indulge in incest and flagellation. Okay, do y'all hear this? Do y'all hear this? They don't even care if these children are theirs. Okay? Flagellation. Now, flagellation is basically flogging or beating. It's like if you take something and you make like a cat o' nine tails with like sharp nails or pieces sticking out of it, and you beat someone with it across their backs and buttocks and things like that. And sometimes they even have used these things to tenderize the meat on the victims' bodies to eat them. And how do I know that? Well, because what is his name? Oh my God, what is that serial killer's name? Albert Hamilton Fish Remember, they call him the vampire of Brooklyn, the werewolf of Wisteria. He was a cannibal. He was a part of these things from way back in the 1900s, the early 1900s. Okay, when he was put on trial, he talked about wealthy, rich aristocrats who did these things that he was doing. So that's why when I started hearing about this stuff, I already knew it was true. This man was on a whole trial and went to prison and was put on death row for it back in the 30s. Albert Hamilton Fish. Okay, I'm currently writing a book about him now, but he's the world's most notorious or nefarious serial killer, in my opinion. And most of the children he ate, which they're not going to tell you, but you have to dig for the research, were black. That's why he got away with it for so long. He ate hundreds of children, but he only got caught when he captured or kidnapped a little white girl by the name of Grace Budd, 10 years old. Okay, now let's continue. So there are tales of men who indulge in sacrilegious activities, such as having sex with prostitutes during mass. The female children are R-worded, vajayjay style, during the evening orgies. Other elements of that month's stories, such as whipping, are enacted. Now, part 3. This starts in January, the criminal passions. The notes outline tales of libertines who indulge in criminal activities, albeit stopping short of murder. They include men who take girls to Sodom and Gomorrah as young as 3, men who prostitute their own daughters to others and watch the proceedings, and others who mutilate women by tearing off their fingers or burning them with red-hot pokers. These are some of the torturous methods that they use. Now, mind you, this is all in the movie 120 Days of Sodom, but this is absolutely what was going on within these satanic cults. And this is why this man was taken up out of here, okay, for revealing these things in a movie. Now, during the month, the 4 libertines have sex through the back door with the 16 male and female children who, along with other victims, are treated more brutally as time goes on with regular beatings, whippings, and torture. Now, part 4 starts in February, the murderous passions. The final 150 anecdotes, mostly written in note form, involve murder. They include libertines who skin children alive, disembowel pregnant women. Now, we've heard about this in the Epstein files, okay? Burn entire families alive and kill newborn babies in front of their mothers. This is in the Epstein files as well, about the children being killed. The final tale is the only one written in detail since the Simple Passions of November. It features the hell libertine who is manually stimulated by servants while watching 15 teenage girls being simultaneously tortured to death. During this month, the libertines kill 3 of their 4 daughters, along with 4 of the female children, 2 of the male children, and 1 fucker. That's what they call them. And they sometimes call them mother-uckers. Okay, because sometimes they make these people engage in incestuous things. That goes for Epstein Island. The torture, murder, and mutilation of one of the girls is described in detail. Okay, March. Sade lists those who have been murdered during the 120 days. The libertines decide to spare 12 of the survivors and murder the rest. The ones spared are the 4 storytellers, the 4 of the fuckers, okay, the 3 cooks and Julie. They draw up a schedule of execution, 1 to be carried out each day. Sade then presents a final tally. Okay, 10 were murdered in the course of the orgies, 20 were killed from 1st of March, and 16 returned to Paris. Okay, so with that all being said, I'm going to stop right there. These are some of the things that we're making them do. Also sick and depraved, like I told you. Okay, so now let's go to what this guy was on Joe Rogan's podcast. I absolutely agree with him because I have actually read about this before. When he talks about them putting a spell on people. So when you see some people who absolutely don't believe this, those people may be under a spell. Who knows? But let's get into it.
They're like really interested in reading all the emails.
I think the Luciferians cast a spell on the world. And,
for real?
Oh, absolutely. You like you know, it's just like how vampires can't go into a house unless they're invited. They tell you, you know, what's going on ahead of time. It's predictive programming. And once you say it out loud and you put it out there and make fun of it and do a little skit, like Stephen Colbert did a little skit on his show where, oh, here's a baby. I'm going to take this baby and I'm going to give it to Moloch. And he goes into like a cloudy red, furnace and hands the baby over and he's, oh, the baby's going to be fine. And they make a joke about it and the audience laughs. Okay, we're all now conditioned to it. We've all seen it, and by laughing at it, we were complicit.
You think that that's on purpose? That this is like some sort of a grand design to get us to be desensitized to the idea of demons eating babies?
Yeah, for sure.
And Stephen Colbert should be ashamed of himself because there's nothing funny about this. It is just ignorant to me for anyone to think anything about this is a joke. Okay, there's nothing funny at all about any of it.
Really?
For sure. And by the way,
but
nobody's doing anything about it. We know what's happening.
But that has to take, there has to be a person or some group of people.
Yeah, like about 8,500 people. Yeah.
That are manipulating the Colbert Show?
They're manipulating everything. It's all an illusion. Like, reality as we know it is fake. That's the revelation that guy is having. And he's looking around and he's like, it's like Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Well, the thing about the emails is, one of the things is it's just stuff written down. And so that's sort of hard to digest. Like, what is this? Like, what are they saying? Like, some of it is in code, like walking over beef jerky. Like talking about jerky, could you walk beef jerky over to this person? Like, what does that mean?
For all this pizza they're talking about, no,
right.
You never see any pizza.
Right. Yeah. They're ordering pizza.
I'm gonna get some grape soda. It's like with my cheese pizza.
Yeah.
And like, there's all this coded language, and everyone's like, oh, that's you just have pareola.
And see, here's another thing people should pay attention to. The reason that the children are always referred to as items of food is because they eat them. Have y'all not put that together? The reason they refer to them as food items, in my opinion, is because they're eating them. Okay?
You're just seeing things where you want to see them.
No, this is clearly a code. Well, that was the thing about Pizzagate.
It's absolutely a code. And in fact, mundus vult decepi, ergo decepiatur. It's a long-known concept. And so in Latin, mundus vult decepi means the world wants to be deceived. Ergo decepiatur. Therefore, it is. We want to be deceived. We don't want to believe the horrors that are actually behind.
Okay, I'm going to stop right there. I'm not going to play that whole clip, but I'll tell you this. If you all aren't doing it, I have to go in a minute because, like I said, I have somewhere to be at 8. But here's the thing. If you all have any time this weekend, you may want to watch Rosemary's Baby. Roman Polanski, who was also a PDF file, who fled the country to avoid prison. Okay, he did something nefarious with a 13-year-old. And I heard Whoopi Goldberg the other day trying to, sounded like she was defending him. She said, well, it wasn't exactly grape. It was, girl, he was a grown man, I think in his 30s or 40s, and this was a 13-year-old. So Whoopi, please, I have questions for you now. What are you talking about? Okay, what are you talking about at the end of the day? Now, with that all being said, there's video footage of some children that I have in here. I'm going to go to more talk about underground and things of that nature. Orlando Brown had something to say. Rosie O'Donnell. There's a lot. More Sasha Riley audio and all of these things that I still have. I don't have time to show it now. We've been on here for 2 hours, so I'm about to conclude the broadcast. But before I go, I do want you all to see this because Sasha Riley did file paperwork, and here is some of the stuff that he filed. Okay, let's not forget that Sasha Riley is also a decorated
U.S. Army vet.
He is a decorated Iraqi war veteran. Okay, so I do believe that he's absolutely credible. This is from Substack, a video from Substack. Okay, let's listen to this and then we're out of here.
William Sasha Riley has circulated widely online. These claims are serious. The allegations are disturbing. Today, I'm not attempting to decide what is true or false. Rather, I'm going to establish a timeline and show what documentation currently exists that corroborates parts of William Sasha Riley's story. In September of 2021, Riley publicly posted a list of items they said would corroborate.
Now, these are the list of items that Sasha Riley posted, okay, that he said would corroborate these things. This was in 2021. The following will corroborate all or parts of my recent post. Donald's medical records. He's talking about Donald Trump's medical records. How come Donald Trump never wants his medical records released? Okay, when people have questions. Well, you know, I don't blame him for that, but at the end of the day, which Sasha claims he did to him, he says it should be in the medical records because he says Donald Trump was life flighted from there. And let me just tell you what Sasha claims he did to Donald Trump. Okay, this is all alleged. Everything is alleged, okay? Now, Sasha Riley says that he was being assaulted, and you know what kind of assault I'm talking about, being taken to Sodom and Gomorrah by Donald Trump. He then says that Donald Trump then wanted him, Sasha, to take Donald Trump to Sodom and Gomorrah. So he says that he laid down, Donald Trump that is, he says Donald Trump laid down on his stomach and wanted him to do things. Sasha said there was some sort of wooden stick or something that he had been eyeballing for quite some time. He said that he had been planning and looking around for some way to defend himself. He'd already come to grips with the fact that he's likely going to die, but I'm going to take somebody with me, and he wanted to take out DJT. Okay, Deborah says, Queen, thanks for bringing informative topics. You're welcome, beloved. Thank you for your kind words and your contribution to the channel. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Okay, yes, oh my days says a tent spike. Yes, that's exactly what it was. Thank you, beloved, for bringing that back to my memory. So he took this thing and he put the protection that he had been given to use. He put it on the tent spike, the condom. He put it on that, and then he says he put it in Sodom and Gomorrah on Donald Trump and took his foot and kicked it as hard as he could. He says they had to take Donald up out of there in a helicopter. Now, that's what he said. Now, I can't substantiate it. It's all alleged. But that's what he says. So this is why he's talking about his medical records. And then he also says his own medical records, my medical records, CPS involvement in Texas, Tennessee, and Alabama, the lady at the shoe store, Ray Slauson, our neighbor in New Brockton, Alabama. This person was supposedly a witness. A polygraph given to me at a behavioral health hospital in Alabama. He's taken a polygraph test. I'll take another polygraph, he says. There was heroin in my system when CPS got involved in Alabama. Okay, multiple police investigations in Texas, Tennessee, Alabama, and Florida. Witnesses after my dad tried to facilitate the accidents to kill me. There's witnesses to all of this. Other neighbors from the duplex in Enterprise, Alabama. I went to 9 different schools, some of which had records of incidents and requested police involvement and CPS intervention themselves. Okay, he has proof and receipts. But the question is, why is no one looking into these things? The pornography that still exists. The FBI investigation into the pornography. The FBI investigated this. And with that all being said, Sasha, you know, these things that Sasha is talking about, these things started happening, I want to say, in the early 80s. Before we even knew about Epstein, before people were even talking about Epstein, these things were happening in the 80s. Sasha Riley was born in 1973. He was a little boy when these things were happening. He's saying, he alleges that Donald Trump was doing things to him way back then. You know, and the fact that he used that tent spike, according to him, on Donald Trump, I wonder if that has anything to do with Donald Trump taking dumps on himself. Okay, because you know they say he poops his pants. All right. And now, with that all being said, my dad got a speeding ticket on our way to bury someone by the name of Sammy. There's probably more, but those are a good starting point. This is posted September the 7th of 2021. Okay, the sad thing is his post One of his first posts got 0 views until recently. And that's because at the time he only had about 56 subscribers. Okay. So anyway, let's continue.
Corroborate
Let me put the overlay back on here.
their claims, including medical records, CPS involvement in multiple states,
I'm going to
police
skip past and
reports,
read all of this.
we have court-filed adoption records from Greene County, Tennessee. These documents show that a child originally named Manuel Sasha Barros was born on June 23, 1973 in Germany. He was legally adopted and renamed William Sasha Riley in 1978. This independently corroborates Riley's claim regarding adoption, original identity, and birthplace. Sasha has had multiple known aliases that are consistent with name changes over time. During his childhood and his military career, they went by the name William Sasha Riley. Today, their social media accounts indicate they go by the name Sasha Barros. Minor traffic citations from the late 1990s further confirm real-world presence and continuity, something that is rather difficult to fabricate retroactively. Riley has long claimed that their adoptive father, William Kyle Riley, was a highly skilled pilot with access to aircraft. Public FAA aviation databases confirm that William Kyle Riley held multiple commercial pilot certifications, including helicopter and multi-engine aircraft.
There was also a document or two that I saw in the emails that said a person by the name of William Riley was supposed to testify in some case. Okay. That would likely have been Sasha's adopted father because that's his name, William Kyle Riley. What he was supposed to testify to, I'm not sure.
A 2020 article further confirms that William Kyle Riley received the FAA Master Pilot Award, which requires decades of verified flight experience. These records corroborate capability and access, but not any allegation of wrongdoing. William Sasha Riley's military service is also independently documented. Official discharge records show service in the U.S. Army, including deployment to Iraq, multiple decorations, and an honorable retirement. This establishes Riley's presence at specific bases and locations referenced in later claims. Michael R. Bayless was Sasha Riley's first sergeant while Riley served at Fort Carson between 2009 and 2010. In a brief message exchange with independent investigative journalist Sue Sell, Bayless confirmed that he was in the room when the commanding officer asked Riley if he was in a video. Bayless says that he did not see the video and he is not certain if the commanding officer saw it.
Now, Bayless would be a witness. This is someone verifying that they absolutely heard the commanding officer ask Sasha Riley about the video. So that further confirms what Sasha Riley has already said.
An article reporting that 2 Carson soldiers were arrested on child porn charges was published in the Denver Post on May 28, 2009. A Lawton, Oklahoma police detective has...
Now, those 2 soldiers, they were arrested for watching that porn, and so they likely saw the video with Sasha, which is why the commanding officer came and asked Sasha if he was in a video.
Confirmed that Riley filed a police report in 2022. That report was forwarded to the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation because the alleged crimes occurred outside Lawton's jurisdiction. While the existence of this report is confirmed, the contents of the report are not public. It is critical to be precise here. Certainly, these documents do not prove the most serious allegations presented by William Sasha Riley. What they do establish is something narrower, but very important. Multiple independent records confirm that William Sasha Riley, the person, exists. The adoption occurred. The named individuals are real. The aviation background of Bill Riley, Sasha Riley's adoptive father, is accurate. The military service is real. A police report was indeed filed 4 years ago, and so far, none of these foundational claims have been shown to be false. Responsible investigation cannot begin with conclusions. It begins with testimony, yes, but then it makes its way through documents, timelines, and verification. I will keep you updated as more records are released, including potential medical records, CPS files, or court.
Okay, so he did his research. He did his thorough research, and mind you, some of these people saying things in videos, I have absolutely fact-checked them to see if what they said was true. Okay, and I'm not talking about the witnesses because I can't fact-check them, but I'm talking about people that talk about certain documents, or they say where certain people worked and things like that, or just certain information they gave. Like, for example, when they talked about Lifeboat being a foundation that caters to homeless children and things like that, yes, I did look that up, absolutely. Okay, it's like for homeless boys, I do believe. Okay, with that all being said, I did want to show you what Trump's lying administration said before I leave out of here. Okay, let's go to Kash Patel. And Elon's brother, Kimball Musk, was also mentioned in these files. Elon, where you at? Okay, I have questions. Okay, here we go. This is Senator Kennedy talking.
Way that my people here in Louisiana see it, Casey. My people think, and I agree with them, that Epstein was a pig, a P-I-G pig. My people think that this is no country for creepy old men. My people believe, and I think they're right, that Epstein trafficked young women, some of whom were minors, to himself. But here's the issue. My people want to know, who else, if anyone, did Epstein traffic young women to? And if they were punished, how were they punished? And if they weren't punished, why? Now, President Trump has turned that issue over to Attorney General Bondi. And I don't know how she is going to answer that question for the American people without releasing all the records. Maybe she can, but I just don't think this issue is going to go away until that issue is addressed and answered to the American people's satisfaction. Yeah. And I may end up with a sombrero on my head for saying that, but that's what is the way that my people here in Louisiana see it, Casey. My people think, and I agree with them, that Epstein was a pig.
Okay, now here Kennedy is talking to Kash Patel, catching him in a whole lie. All of these people in Trump's administration are nothing but dirty liars.
Have you seen the Epstein files?
I have not reviewed the entirety of it myself, but a good amount.
2:17 p.m. The hearing had been going on for hours in the conference hall. Everyone was tired now. The senators were tired of asking questions. The journalists were tired of taking notes. And even the cameramen were tired of filming. Kash Patel, on the other hand, Kash Patel was relieved because he had managed to evade the most dangerous senators. Raskin, Goldman, Ted Lieu, Robert Kennedy. He managed to get through everything somehow, but there was still someone he hadn't met yet. Who was that person? John Kennedy, a Republican from Louisiana who is Trump's man. No one was afraid or worried about him. Patel was among those who were not concerned. Goldman had silently zoomed access granted. But are you saying you didn't enter? Patel's lead attorney.
Okay, I'm not trying to hear this AI sounding voice. I thought that was actually Senator Kennedy going to be talking. Now, with that all being said, let's go to this clip of Joe Rogan where he's talking about Sultan Ahmed and why Trump is covering this stuff up. Remember, Joe Rogan was a Trump supporter and had Trump on his show.
Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem sent the torture video to Epstein. This is in 2009. So Epstein was saying that. Where are you? Are you okay? I love the torture video.
Jeez.
I am in China. I'll be in the US second week of May. What the fuck, man? And why is his name redacted? Why would your name be redacted if you're not a victim? Like, this is what's crazy about all this. Like, how come you redact some people and you don't redact other people? Like, what is this? This is not good. None of this is good for this administration. It looks fucking terrible. It looks terrible. It looks terrible for Trump when he was saying that none of this was real. This is all a hoax. This is not a hoax. Like, did you not know? Maybe he didn't know, if you want to be charitable. But this is definitely not a hoax. And if you got redacted people's names and these people aren't victims, you're not protecting the victim. So what are you doing?
Right.
And how come all this shit is not released? Sultan Ahmed bin
Okay, now Sultan Ahmed bin Sulayem is mentioned more than 5,000 times in the Epstein files. The email spanned from 2007 until weeks before Epstein's death in 2019. The majority of them were sent after the American financier's 2008 conviction for soliciting prostitution from someone underage. Now, email suggests Sulayem made visits to Little St. James, the Caribbean island, once owned by Epstein. Here it says, "Dear Jeffrey, I really had a very nice time at your island." That's from Suleiman. Okay, here it says, "Great St. James, a larger island from the north to the north of Epstein's, was much coveted by the financier, but its owner, Christian Kajer, did not want to sell it to Epstein due to his sex offense convictions. According to the Miami Herald, to circumvent that, Epstein bought the island through a shell company whose beneficial owner was Sulayem. So please pay attention. They were in the habit of purchasing things in someone else's name if they could not get it themselves." Okay, so that all being said, this is all just really a lot to digest. I know. A whole lot to digest. Now, here's what a pastor had to say. I'm going to go to this pastor from, this guy shows a pastor from Montana, what he had to say. And actually, one of the Oath Keepers, you know, the Oath Keepers are a militia who are racist, in my opinion. But the Oath Keepers pastor, this is what they had to say about Trump and the Epstein files.
We're not going to believe what this pastor from Kalispell, Montana, from right here where I live, had to say in his sermon about the Epstein files. Chuck Baldwin is not just some pastor. He's a nationally famous right-wing Christian nationalist who is called to speak all around the nation. And he is the personal chaplain for the Oath Keepers, for Stuart Rhodes. Remember the seditious conspiracy January 6th people? This guy right here? Yeah, this is his church. I want you to listen to his sermon if you want to know what's going on with the Epstein files out here in Montana.
If you have taken the time to look at even some of the newly released e-files, you know that Donald J. Trump, along with the rest of the rich and famous predators in those files, should spend the rest of his life in prison. And even if he did, that would not balance the scales of justice owed by this degenerate monster.
Now, Pam Bondi says we should just be looking at the stock market. And Ryan Zinke, the guy who I am running against for Congress, this is what he has to say about all that.
Bottom line is, I don't believe there's a secret list. I don't believe that there's this huge volume of information that is some author going to indict anybody. But I think Pam Bondi did a great job. I mean, the Epstein, everyone's trying to find a nugget in that doesn't exist. So I think she's done a great job. I support the president on this. They've already said there's no secret list in there that not they find. There's no, there's not a huge issue there.
Come on. This is a moral moment. We can put pedophiles in prison. We can stand up and say it's wrong. We can demand the release of all the files. I'm Ryan Bussey. I'm running for Congress to make this nation a better place. Let's go get it done.
Okay, now with that all being said, let's go to what Marjorie Taylor Greene said. Okay, let's go back to what she said about what Trump told her. And then we're out of here. Okay, I'm way late to be getting off of here. I'm way late to be getting off of here. Okay.
Got yelled at by the president over this. This is why he called me a traitor. He called me a traitor because I would not take my name off the discharge petition, because I stood firmly and said, no, we're going to release the Epstein files. I'm standing with women who were as teenagers. I'm not standing with the government. I don't support the cover up of all of this stuff, whatever it may be. And the president got mad at me, and he's told me, and I've said this multiple times, he told me his friends would get hurt. And that's what he told me. And then we're seeing a continued slow walk and cover up of a lot of this information. And I know that is why. I firmly believe that that's why it is being covered up. So when everyone's getting mad at Pam Bondi, or you can name anybody you want. The man at the top is Donald Trump. He's the president. And he's the one that was completely against releasing the files. When we started fighting to get them released, he's the one that called it a Democrat hoax.
Okay, no lies detected. Even though I can't stand Marjorie Taylor Greene, she was always a Trump loyalist until he went in on her. Now, okay, so with that all being said, yes, oh my day, absolutely, it is messy that Prince William, there's pictures of Prince William recently with Solomon. And I find it interesting because doesn't he realize that his brother Andrew just lost his title? He should be in prison, Andrew, that is. Okay, now with that all being said, let me just have your Black History moment. And your Black History moment is going to be about how they fed Black babies to alligators, because it absolutely goes right along with this story. Okay, here we go, and then I'm out.
Louisiana in 1867, a northerner recorded one of the most horrifying practices ever documented on American soil. Plantation owners used black babies as alligator bait. Infants were staked near riverbanks to lure gators out of the water for hunting parties. This was not rumor, not folklore, not exaggeration. It was witnessed, written down, and confirmed by multiple observers of the era. In South Carolina, rice plantation owners perfected a different method of punishment. Enslaved people were locked inside wooden boxes at low tide. As the water rose, they drowned slowly, watched, timed, and tormented by overseers who called it the water cure. It was torture designed with precision and purpose. In Mississippi, pregnant women who worked too slowly were forced to lie face down in shallow holes. The holes were dug not for mercy, but for profit, protecting the unborn child, considered valuable property, while the mother was whipped until her back split open. The goal was maximum output, minimum loss. Medical schools across the South purchased enslaved bodies for anatomical dissection. The Medical College of Georgia openly advertised that it had an unlimited supply of black corpses. Physicians like Dr. Thomas Hamilton experimented on enslaved men and women, exposing them to extreme heat to study sunstroke in white laborers. These were not medical anomalies, they were institutional practices. This was not random violence, it was systematic terror. It was the backbone of an economic empire built on extraction, torture, and the destruction of human lives. American slavery was not a chapter in history, it was an industry. If you want more stories that expose
And it is still an industry, okay? It is still an industry, and people make so much money, trillions of dollars per year, these devils make, okay, doing this. And I want you to pay attention, because when they talk about those black babies being fed or used as alligator bait, they also mentioned hunting parties. Now, Fiona Barnett talked about the hunting parties. Okay, she talked about the hunting parties, and she also talked about people dressing up like teddy bears. This is a little girl. This is a very disturbing image that was in the Epstein files of a little girl with this hideous looking teddy bear. Okay, so with that all being said, I'm going to be out of here. Tomorrow, we will talk about what Fiona Barnett said about those hunting parties. I'll just get her exact words or whatever. And we're going to go through, like I said, some more footage of what people had to say. The Sasha Riley videotapes. We'll listen to some more of the audio, what Rosie O'Donnell had to say, what Justin Bieber has had to say. There's lots of celebrities who've been trying to warn people. Okay, Corey Feldman, Corey Haim, Drew Barrymore. There's many people in the who are celebrities who have been saying these things. Okay, so there's no excuse for people to think that these survivors are lying. Okay, because why are these celebrities coming out saying these things happened to them when they were children, or they know about certain things or whatever? Okay, please pay attention. Now, with that all being said, I love you all to life. I hope you all enjoy the rest of this evening. Enjoy the rest of your strong end, not the weekend, leaving you in a weakened state of mind. And I hope to see you all on the next broadcast. Until then, each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive, and always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives.
Burn every motherfucker on the Epstein list, Republican or Democrat. Oh, I don't give a shit. You can bet your bottom dollar they will not be missed. Burn every motherfucker that's on the Epstein list.
Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunsa. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans, and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done.